right, so let's go ahead and get started, and then hopefully we'll have more joining us shortly. By way of introduction, I'm Jeff Lewis. I work at Southern Utah University. So this event is co-hosted with the Utah Association of Colleges and Employers and our friends at SABCA. So presenting today will be Mr. Johan Andries from SABCA, and I will turn the time over to him. Again, a quick reminder, if you have questions, please feel free to put those in the chat box. If you do need to jump off, please be aware that this session is recorded and we will post it on the Southern Utah University Career Center YouTube page, which you can also find in the event description. And with that, I will turn it over to Johan. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Lewis, for this kind introduction. And welcome to everybody who is watching and listening to us. Let me tell you that I would have preferred to be live and face-to-face with you. But with the ongoing travel restrictions as a result of the COVID-19 issues, well, we're actually very grateful to Mr. Lewis, his team, the South Utah University, and the Utah Association for Colleges and Employers. We are really excited as SABCA for this opportunity. And actually, what we would like to do in this about 1 hour session is explain to each of you the opportunity to get an exciting job in a unique aerospace environment close to home in the Utah Ogden area. So, but before sharing with you the agenda, let me maybe very briefly give the opportunity to my team members to introduce themselves. Myself, I'm a retired general in the Belgian Air Force, where I flew in a former life F-16s. I retired somewhat 2.5 years ago, and since then, I've been contracted by SABCA, where I'm in the business development and the defense advisor. And I am actually the project coordinator for the SABCA expansion project to the US. With this, maybe Christine.
Thank you, Johan. It's nice to meet everyone this morning. And Carl, I'm glad that you can make it. I am Christine. I have been contracted by SABCA to help with the U.S. expansion in recruiting and HR efforts. It's been fantastic so far, and I'm really excited for this info session and sharing with you about SABCA and the great opportunity that it is here in Ogden.
Thank you, Christine. Sonia?
Yes, hello. I'm Sonia Goormans. I'm from Belgium as well, colleague of Johan. I am the recruitment manager in Belgium, and I'm taking part to this Zoom meeting just because I'm going to give some support in the recruitment in the US. So welcome, everybody. Hello.
Thank you, Sonia. Last but not least, Lionel.
Hello, everyone. My first name is Lionel, and last name is too difficult to pronounce. But I'm almost 30 years experience at SABCA in 16 years in program management with US Air Force and subcontract with Air Force Base on F-16 and A-10. And more likely, I will be part of the team as a program manager for this effort. So thank you.
So, as I said earlier, what I would suggest is that we start by just briefly presenting what and who SABCA is, and no better way after a short presentation to illustrate it by a very short video, which is very speaking. And then we'll zoom in to the core of the information is actually the SABCA USA project, where we will give you some more information on your working environment, the job that you could go for, and also some timelines in terms of recruitment and training, and maybe also important for you, how we think about your compensations. And to conclude, we will provide you with some data on how to apply and some contact information. As Mr. Lewis told you, you have opportunities to ask questions throughout the presentations through the chat box that will be managed. Those questions will be managed by my colleagues. And then if the questions are of common interest, we'll provide you with answers in a short Q&A after the presentation, if that's okay for you. Good. So let's start. Actually, SABCA is a Belgian company. And as you can see in the upper left corner, we're the oldest Belgian aerospace company. We are actually this year celebrating our 100th anniversary. This is actually a matrix presentation on what we do. And horizontal, you can see the 4 domains of activities. We call it business units. And in the vertical, you see the different markets that we serve. That is commercial aviation, space, the military, and industry. So actually, SABCA is a major player. He's a designer and an integrator. And he's providing solutions with huge added value and technological innovation in the company. So when we go to the 4 business units, I can start with the integrated assembly. So actually, SABCA is a manufacturer of parts, structural parts of aircraft, spacecraft, and so on. So on the picture here, you see with an application to commercial aviation, a picture of an Airbus 350, and for the guys in the military amongst you, you see there the A400M, which is the European transporter for the next generation. So for this kind of planes, SABCA is building flap fairings, tail cones, and other structural real parts. We have also in the integrated assemblies application for space. So we build boosters and parts of boosters for mainly European space vectors. A second area of activities is the one of actuation systems, where we, in commercial, mainly focus on actuators meant for business jet aviation. In space, we focus on thrust vectoring control actuators, real integrated assemblies of the controls, but also the batteries and also the software and hardware going with it. So it's a real integrated solution that we provide to customer. And also in the military, we build, we designed, and we build and we repair the actuators on the F-16 fleet. And then in the third area of activities, and that's the one we will be focusing on today, which is the maintenance, repair, overhaul, and upgrades. And last but not least, this is a kind of preliminary stage, but we started also activities in unmanned aerial systems. So this should give you an overview and a first idea on how diverse SABCA is and, well, how experienced SABCA is. So next slide gives you just an idea on the diversity of customers we have. On the upper left corner, you see the big ones like Gulfstream, Safran, Airbus, Dassault, which are mainly European aircraft builders, constructors. On the lower left corner, that is the more interesting for us. You will first of all see the Belgian colors, because the Belgian Air Force is our main customer, because he's the image builder and the builder of the reputation that we have over the world. You see, besides the Belgian Air Force, also the more prominent European air forces, like the Dutch one, the Norwegian and the Danish one. But you see also some OEMs like Textron, Airbus, and Lockheed Martin. And last but not least, the US Air Force is one of our most important customers when it comes to maintenance, repair, and overhaul. I won't bore you with too many facts and figures, just maybe one on the left, which gives you an idea about the annual turnover for the entire SABCA group. Around 200 millions of euros equals more or less 250 millions of American dollars a year. On the right, you see the turnover per market, and then you will notice that the defense part is only representing 1/4 of the turnover. With the expansion of the SABCA activities into the US, which will be mainly focused on military and defense MRO, we hope to bring that 22% up. This should give you an idea about the different locations we have with SABCA Group so far. We have 3 locations in Belgium, and we have 1 in the northern African Casablanca in Morocco more specifically. This gives you a picture of the headquarter Brussels. And let me just test the audience here. Anybody who knows what that building is? Well, that is actually in our backyard, the new NATO headquarters, which was built about 10 years ago and which is operational. It has been inaugurated by your President Trump. I think it was 2 years ago, but it's just in our backyard, actually. This is the home and the office work location of Lionel. This is the Brussels South facility where we do exclusively the maintenance and repair operations. It is adjacent to a civil airport runway just to allow the F-16s. You see one here just to allow them fly in and fly out after the repair and inspections. And this one is the main hangar in which all the magic happens. And then here's a view on the SABCA Morocco site. And as I explained to you, and that's the reason why we're here today, we hope to show you pictures of the SABCA USA facilities pretty soon. So let's now zoom in to the MRO and upgrades part of the SABCA activities. So actually in the MRO business unit, we have done and still do aircraft assembly. We do aircraft maintenance, but we do also maintenance and repair on components of aircraft. And we also have an active role in aircraft upgrades. I'll zoom in a little bit on each of these activities. This is a picture of a Belgian helicopter, but you should know that SABCA assembled over the years over 200 F-16s. The entire Belgian fleet has been assembled in Belgium by SABCA. And in total, we assembled over 600 aircraft, both fixed wing and rotary wing aircraft. This is a picture in the paint booth, just to show you that we so far maintained over 2,000 aircraft and helicopters, which is quite impressive. We do that since more than 40 years now. This gives you a shot in the maintenance, the component maintenance area, where, as you can see on the slide, we do hydraulics, electrics, gearboxes, fuel systems, and other components repair and maintenance. Last but not least, we also did over 300 upgrades on aircraft and helicopters. So that should give you a view on the expertise SABCA has in the field of maintenance, repair, and overhaul. This is an inside picture on that main hangar that you've seen earlier. And you can spot 2 American birds in repair, an F-16, and in the back you see the A-10, and I'll give you some more details on that one. First, some blow-ups of different locations within that main hangar, which gives you an idea about the different type of activities that we do over there. So we handle the canopy and ejection seats. We have a fuel shed where we unfuel and refuel the aircraft and do tests on the fuel system. The picture on this one here gives you an idea how we repair and maintain the wings of, for instance, F-16s. The back shop of MRO. Here you see the wiring harnesses. And here's again an inside view on the plastic media cabin. A last shot to give you an idea on the customers we serve. So as I said earlier, before all, the Belgian Air Force, also the Norwegian, Danish, and the Royal Netherlands Air Force. But as stated before, the US Air Force is actually our primary customer. And this should give you an idea on what we performed on American birds. So almost for 2 decades now, on the left, you see the different upgrade and maintenance and repair programs that we performed on the American F-16s that are still stationed in Europe. Okay, and on the right, you have a glance on the activities, the maintenance activities we did on the A-10 between 2000 and 2014, until the A-10s were sent back home after being stationed in Europe for quite some time. So this actually concludes the first part, which is the presentation of SABCA in general. And if you agree, I would now suggest that we just start a very short video, a 2 minutes video, who will illustrate what I just come to tell you. Thank you.
Maintenance, repair, overhaul, and upgrades. Aircraft are complex products where ultimate reliability and availability are obviously essential. As a full-service fleet manager with experience in different aspects of maintenance, repair, and overhaul on such names as the F-16, Alpha Jet, Augusta, and Mirage, SABCA is one of the main players in the field. The company has an impressive list of achievements to support its claim. With 640 assemblies, more than 2,000 aircraft and helicopters maintained, in-depth knowledge of hydraulics, generators, gearboxes, fuel systems, turbines, tanks, and instrumentation, it puts itself at the forefront of the industry. To meet all its clients' extremely high standards, SABCA maintains and manages fleets in fully equipped factories with certified employees. Centrally located in Europe, our plant in Charleroi has multiple workshops for maintenance on hydraulics, electrical, instruments, ejection seats, wiring, wings, sheet metal parts, and general components. We have a large infrastructure for spare parts and space for more than 40 aircraft at a time. From stripping the aeroplane or helicopter of all its paint in the blasting cabin to refueling it for departure, SABCA is a one-stop shop for many platforms. SABCA has been successful in delivering critical technologies to major players in civil aviation, space, and defense for several decades, always meeting the most stringent standards and quality norms. No wonder SABCA is notorious for its trustworthy end-to-end service, including design, manufacturing, assembly, testing, and maintenance. SABCA, pushing aerospace industry forward.
Hope this was convincing.
So we actually have a manageable size group. If you'd like, I can give them unmute ability and we can do a short question and answer session.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Perfect. So give me 1 second to change that setting here. All right, so participants, you should now be able to unmute yourselves and ask any questions that you may have.
Hi, this is Kevin Springer from Salt Lake Community College. The the operation that you're starting up at Ogden-Hinckley, is that your first operation in the United States?
Okay, I'll take that question. We take the questions one by one, Jeff?
That'd be great.
Okay, so yes, it will be the first activities that we deploy on American soil. But as you have seen throughout the presentation, so we've been in business with the American Air Force for almost 2 decades now. But it has been a strategic decision by the SABCA management to expand the SABCA activities into the US. And it is a competition for a outsourcing of maintenance activities on the use of F-16s out of Hill Air Force Base. That's actually at the basis of our decision to expand these activities into the US. This will allow us to put a footprint in the US, which could be the basis to deploy other activities in a later stage. But in the first stage, we'll concentrate on MRO activities.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions we have from the participants?
Yes, this is Carl. I was wondering if the facility at Ogden-Hinckley is going to be the full service facility like we have in Belgium, or if we're going to have to draw logistics from Hill.
Okay, maybe it could be good. I'll answer this question, but it could be good if we could continue the presentation on the SABCA USA. That will probably clarify a lot and answer a lot of questions that the folks have in mind. But actually, we are setting up a partnership with a local aerospace company, which is called Borside, and which is located at Ogden-Hinckley. And so the good thing is that they have facilities. And so they will bring in the facilities to the partnership, and we will bring in the expertise on structural repair work on F-16s, which was required to bid for the contract that we're aiming for. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Johan, I had a question along when I was talking to Christine the other day. Are you going to be hiring? We discovered that you will be hiring the NDI techs. Are you also going to be doing any composite tech with the repair, or are you sticking mainly to sheet metal and the mechanics?
Well, actually, I'm in the hands and under control of my tech colleague Lionel, but on the F-16, it's mainly all sheet metal, actually. Okay. Yeah. It's the F-35, F-22s that are more sophisticated in the composite, but F-16 is mainly sheet metal.
Sheet metal, okay.
Lionel, feel free to come in.
Totally correct. It's aluminum stuff. I mean, all the composite damage will be a part replacement, but no maintenance or repair activity except very small one, but it's not a composite activity. Thanks for the question. Okay.
So, Jeff, if you agree, I would suggest that we continue the presentation and then take more questions afterwards. Hi, Natalie. Good to see you. I'm really excited to have this kind of questions.
Perfect. So I will give the screen back over to you and go right ahead.
Okay. So this is what it's all about. This is what it shows us, correct? SABCA USA, Jeff?
Yes, sir. We can see it.
Good. How do you like the logo? I like it very much, to be honest with you.
Beautiful.
Good. So this, for all of you listening and looking, could be your future work location. This is where we plan to locate. This is the Ogden-Hinckley Airport, familiar to most of you, I assume. And the dotted line shows you where the Borside company has a facility. And I'll come more into detail on that in the next slide. I mean, I would sign immediately if I see this scenery no better location to go to work than that one, I would say. This gives you an idea on the Borside actual and planned facilities. On the left, you see the one big existing hangar in which can fit a C-130. Since Borside has some ongoing contracts with the USAF, mainly on C-130. And on the right-hand side, you see the plans for the further development of the Borside Aerospace Campus on that location. So the plan is, once there is contract award, to start constructing additional hangars to have full capability to house the American F-16s for maintenance. And so, as I said it earlier, SABCA has set up a partnership with Borside, which is actually I can go up again just to show Borside. It is a small company, and it is a young company, but they're very dynamic, very eager, and very proactive. And so they have quite a good reputation in the area when it comes to, performance. And the good thing is that the activities between the two of us are very complementary. So their focus is more on the avionics upgrade and maintenance side, where SABCA is very proficient and experienced in the structural maintenance work. And so that makes it a perfect fit to partner up, and that made us decide to bid for that contract that has a planned contract award for end of September this year. So here we go. This could be your job. So it all is about a depot level maintenance activities maintenance contract that U.S. government is planning to contract out of Hill Air Force Base. Because lack of space and because lack of manpower, which is now fully dedicated to the newer platforms like F-22 and F-35, well, U.S. government and U.S. Air Force leadership decided to outsource the depot level maintenance activities for F-16. And that is where we come in. And so we decided, with Borside being the prime contractor, SABCA being a foreign company being the subcontractor, we decided to bid in last August. And again, contract award is expected by end of September this year. It is a 5 + 5 years contract. So once contract is awarded, we got business for 10 years, and it will be a quite full business, knowing the amount of work that is waiting. And as I said, the SABCA contribution to the contract and to the labor will be mainly structural inspection and repair. But also, there is room for contract field team repair, which means that if you want to apply for a job with SABCA USA, well, you should be open to occasional travels outside the company, outside the facility in Ogden. Could be within the country, or could also be outside your country, just to go and do maintenance activities and repair on U.S. Air Force bases. That's part of the deal. In the compensation and benefits, we cannot go in further detail today, but I can guarantee you that we're working to offer you very fair and very competitive packages of comp and benefits that are very competitive in the labor market that is applicable in Utah. I know especially the aerospace sector is a very popular, very demanded sector. So we'll make sure that we are competitive to make us attractive to the best workers that we need. So if you go more in detail, it will be a kind of ramp up and gradual build up of the force for SABCA USA, but initially, in the short term, we will need some sheet metal workers, mainly actually sheet metal workers, and a more experienced sheet metal supervisor. We also will need one aircraft systems supervisor and several aircraft systems mechanics, both level 1 and level 3. And then, especially for you, Natalie, there, we also are looking for 2 NDI inspectors, one on level 1 and one on level 2. And then we also are looking for a supply officer. Those are vacancies that are open as from the beginning. So to start with, and numbers will only increase in time. Okay. So what profiles are we looking for? Well, SABCA is quite demanding. We only will contract the best amongst you. So we want to get reliable folks, eager to learn folks, open for teamwork, and also open to occasional travels. It could be COVID-19 permitting that we bring you over to Belgium for a 1 or 2 month training period in our Belgian SABCA facilities, and then get you back to Ogden, where you can start the operations as from January. Should there be a restriction in the travels, well, then we're going to set up the training for you folks in the Ogden area. But the idea is that we transfer the knowledge and the experience that we have here in the Belgian facilities, that we transfer that know-how into the Ogden area, into the younger, new American workers that we're going to hire. And hopefully you will be one of these workers. This should give you an idea about the time plan. So this is where we need to be ready. January 21. There, contractually, we will get the first aircraft inducted. So we need to be ready and operational by then. And for that reason, we plan to contract in the August-September timeframe. So that is for your personal planning. If you want a job right now, we cannot help you. But if you're in for a job as from September, we're your man. And for that reason, we will start the interviews and selection procedures as from July. And as I told earlier, there will be a 1 or 2 month training period pending the level of experience and pending the requirements. And as said, it could be either in Belgium, either in Utah. And then that should give you some more room to get ready, to get the site and the procedures ready to be operational as from January 21st. That's the plan. To conclude, this slide shows you some information on how and where to apply. So the job descriptions with all details are available on DWS and also through Handshake. You can send your resume to the hrsabca.usa@sabca.be mailbox, and then Christina will respond and schedule you for a face-to-face or virtual interview. Would you like to come to know even more about SABCA? You got the website, and then you got here the contacts of both Christine, who is actually our local HR consultant that is close to you in the Ogden area. And you got also my contact should there be a need to, you got both email addresses. Well, actually, that concludes our message. And hopefully this was convincing. And hopefully you will remember the email box where you should drop your application. So I thank you on behalf of SABCA of your attention, but now we are ready to answer your questions with pleasure.
All right, thank you so much. And again, participants, I have given you the ability to unmute to ask any remaining questions that you may have.
Hi, this is Kevin Springer again at Salt Lake Community College. Do you have an idea about what typical NDI processes you'll be using at your facility there?
Lionel?
I will answer this. Eddy current inspection for now. It's the most inspection we have to perform. Some ultrasonics, but it's a very minor inspection. I mean, 99% of the NDI inspection will be eddy current.
Super, thanks.
You're welcome.
Any more?
We've got, sorry, Kevin here again. Obviously, we've got students that have graduated and are out working, but we also have students that are still in our program finishing up. I would assume that you're trying to get some candidates that have some experience already in the industry. How open are you to looking at candidates that are just coming out of a program?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kevin, thank you for that question. A great question. Actually, we're looking for a kind of healthy mix between experienced workers on one hand and freshmen just graduating, younger folks on the other side, on the other hand. So, and then there should be a kind of cross-fertilization, but we need an experience basis, of course, but definitely, and that's the reason why we set up this kind of information session, we are definitely looking to the local colleges and universities to bring us up young graduates that can join the SABCA team.
Johan, I had a question about how many, you said that you're planning on the growth of, how many NDI, how many positions do you say starting off do you have available? If we were to hand pick to know who to apply for, either the sheet metal or the NDI positions, how many positions starting off are you looking at filling?
Okay, are you going specifically to NDI or?
Yeah, let's talk about your NDI level 1 and level 2s, mainly because that's usually with most companies, it's the more limited positions that are available.
Yeah, this will be throughout time, will remain limited to 2 positions. Lionel, correct me if I'm wrong, but it will remain 2 because we do that in close cooperation and partnership with Borside, who brings in NDI people also.
So 2 of each level, or just a 1 level 1 and 1 level 2?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then more sheet metal, a handful. How many are you looking at even for the sheet metal?
I think we start off with 6, growing to 22-ish, between 22 and 30.
Okay.
And we're looking for a full workforce just to cope with this contract of around 50-ish people, management included. But again, this is just the start, and this is just to set a footprint. Of course, we're going to do business development beyond this contract. So there is growth potential.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Johan, I wanted to clarify for Carl, who is more experienced, that we are looking to have a combination in the workforce of kind of new and eager to the field, as well as those with Carl's experience and know-how. So,
yeah, definitely. Thank you, Christine. And I've seen Carl's name coming up. So looking forward, Carl, if you're still with us, looking forward to hear from you and, to get you interviewed. We're looking forward.
Perfect. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you again to Johan Andries and the whole SABCA team. You have that contact information. And again, if you miss part of it for tech issues, or if you have colleagues that that were not able to be on this call, Again, this meeting is recorded, and I will post it on the SUU Career Center YouTube channel. So thank you again, and we really appreciate all who are able to join us.
Thank you again, Geoff, for supporting us, and we really appreciate. And we're looking forward to have some of the folks here joining the SABCA team in Ogden. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.